Thanks for joining us, Newey. We saw a lot of hard work prior to the break, particularly in very gruelling hot weather sessions. What have you made of pre-season to date?
Yeah, pre-season's been fairly solid. We had a little bit of a patch there early on where we had a lot of storms and a lot of the sessions were in the wet. So it was good to get a little bit of sunny weather leading into the break. We could get a fair bit of quality football into the players just leading into Christmas. And, it was still a fair dynamic of the group that's changed from last year. So still kind of learning faces and the way each other plays. And it's been a bit of a learning experience, a bit of a different sort of feel as opposed to last year. But I think we're in pretty good shape.
You touched on the dynamic of the group. It is a bit smaller this year. How have you as a coaching group adapted to that? Do the pros outweigh the cons?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's disappointing to lose personnel because, we had a great group of young men last year, and it probably just means now for us it's probably more hands-on in terms of our development with these players. So that's the advantage that you get. It's more personable. It's probably easier to manage throughout the summer. You don't get a lot of rotations throughout the session. You can sort of hone in and even do one drill with the whole group. So it's been a bit of a challenge with numbers, trying to get everyone here at the one night. But we feel like we're fairly settled now. We've got most of the group back, and there's one or two that are still away on holidays, having a good break and hopefully looking after themselves. But as I said before, it's a pretty good feel. The boys have adapted really well, especially the last couple of weeks prior to Christmas. It was a really good feel around the place.
Your turnover is an enormous part of footy at every level. Got a lot of fresh faces in the group at this early stage. Who's impressed you? Who stood out?
Well, I think the impressive thing is that the guys that were here last year that have come back in really good shape. Jordan Haynes is one that is back in really good shape. There's quite a number of TAC Cup kids that are back and performing really well. It was always going to be a test to see which familiar faces come back into the group. Which familiar faces would come back and then leave and go on to play at local level, which is okay. And as you said, it's part of the competitions, particularly with development going out of the picture now. So they're the decisions that some of these players had to make. But I think in its entirety, the group are in fairly good condition, and it's a pretty good dynamic in terms of the age demographic at the moment. Everyone's really relatable and enjoying their training.
And then lastly, we've got a time trial going on behind us. Do you miss it at all?
No, not one bit. And I'm sure the players don't look forward to doing it, but we thought we'd hit them up. This is our first session back, so hit them up with a bit of a surprise. And there's a couple that I'm noticing just at the moment that are at the back and not going too fast. So it'll be interesting to see what times we get. But I think as we speak, Billy Murphy going to take out the time trial now. One of the guys that left us, Xavier Damasi, we'll be very happy to see him cross the line first. And he challenged one of the new guys on our list, Geordie Nagel, who's also been a really good runner. So it's good to see those guys in good condition and setting the standard for the rest of the group.
Perfect. Thank you very much for joining us.